set for the next?
Yeah.
Great. So here comes another enriching session, and listening is so important. We are embracing so many new things. So time to now hear some really important people on the topic unleashing the potential of new age technologies in digital transformation of higher education institutions, how learning in classroom is getting impacted. And that is so much my concern as well. And to moderate this session, may I now invite on stage Mr. Bhupesh Daheria, CEO and founder, Aegis School of Data Science, and founder, Muni. Welcome, sir. Mr. Daheria is a serial entrepreneur and educator, and he is into skilling in data science and artificial intelligence, and he's going to steer these discussions with some very important people who must be now on the dais. Please welcome on stage Mr. Parikshit Jain, Associate Director, Grant Thornton. Dr. Vinny Jory, Director, Education Advocacy at Microsoft. Mr. Durga Prasad, Solution Architect from Amazon. Dr. Bhupesh. The stage is all yours. Thank you.
Hello. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So far, I have not become a doctor, neither I have any intention to become a doctor. So, good evening again. So we have such a fantastic panel, and I would not like to dare to introduce any of my panelists. So how this panel will work, all of us will introduce ourselves for a minute, and then we'll have a free flowing of Q&A. And since we have around 40-minute time, so we'll try to really finish off it in 30 minutes, and 10 minutes we'll open it for the audience for Q&A. And my observation and advice that the questions, if are limited to 1 or 2 sentences, that will be fantastic. So let's start with Dr. Vinny.
I'm Vinny Jory. I'm the Director for Education Advocacy for Microsoft India. I'm responsible for working closely with higher education, K-12, and governments on multiple areas such as capacity building of faculty, curriculum, employability, certifications, and on policy matters as well.
Thank you, Dr. Vinny.
Hi, myself Parikshit Jain. I am part of Grant Thornton India, and I lead the blockchain practice in the organization. And I'm also part of the Learning and Development Academy which we run from Grant Thornton. And we have been associated with some of the reputed colleges through whom we provide courses on disruptive technologies, blockchain. I do myself, but we have our network where we provide learning on data science, analytics, and artificial intelligence, which are, the most disruptive technologies. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Durga Prasad. I'm the solutions architect from Amazon Internet Service Provider. In this role, I actually work with all the universities, K-12, and all the entire education institutions, as well as edtechs. I'm glad to be here, and then my intention is to share my experiences of whatever I learned, talking to all the universities, helping them, meeting their needs, whether it is a campus management or faculty or pedagogical innovation that they have, or as a student engagements. I would like to share my experiences there. Hopefully you will have some takeaways from there. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, about me, I am Bhupesh Daheria. I have over 23 years experience, primarily into education, telecom, AI, machine learning, and recently into data science. So I represent two organizations. So I run a school called Aegis, School of Business, Telecommunication, Data Science, Cybersecurity. This is one of the rare schools which established with industry and academia collaboration. I started this school with the support from Bharti, and now today we have joined hand with IBM, AWS, NVIDIA, and not many other companies. So we run India's one of the best program in data science, and rather first program in data science. We are one of the largest institutions for data science, applied AI, and cybersecurity. We have campus in Mumbai and Pune and Bangalore. I also represent a company called Agni Campus, which rolled out digital stack and digital infrastructure. Now the topic is quite self-explanatory, though pretty lengthy, and I think they have modified the topic, which is good, that now we have to really talk about the impact of the technology in learning in the classroom. So Microsoft has done a tremendously good job in terms of really bringing these technologies into the classroom. What is your thought and what's your experience, Dr. Vinny, specific to India, how these technologies are getting inside into the classroom and how they're impacting the learning outcome or teacher's role or whatever?
So technology is a big enabler for transforming the learning and teaching processes. Over the last decade, there are amazing opportunities, amazing tools that are available as a part of technology offering that brings the world to the classroom. So if we talk about, for example, the tools that support a teacher in the classroom, enabling global collaboration. So for instance, Office 365 tools, now there is M365 as well, which has, for example, OneNote, which is an amazing tool to build collaborative projects, prevent plagiarism, give dynamic feedback to the student community. Very often when the feedback is given, it's very difficult for a faculty to put the grades and write detailed explanations. Imagine if you can record the feedback while you are evaluating. This is just one application. Likewise, Skype enables multiple projects, whether you want to reach out to the robotics labs, get the finest professors across the world, do collaborative projects on energy, environment, all these are distinct possibilities. Minecraft. I don't know how many of you know about Minecraft. Can you show? Raise your hands. Okay. So Minecraft is an amazing opportunity around gamification of education, where you can institute design thinking collaboratively, where a number of students work on the projects. So whether it's about designing smart cities, designing digital engines, or tinkering with construction materials, and then doing reflections across disciplines, it just takes the classroom experience to a different level. It integrates coding as well. So, likewise, we do teaching with technology workshops. There is Microsoft certification available on teaching with technology that's recognized by UNESCO. We did several pilots with engineering professors, very senior to people who started their careers.
So you're doing this teachers training certification.
This is, so the content is available online, and through partner network, they can take a secure certification. And likewise, there are amazing opportunities on doing courses on cloud computing, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data sciences. And there are certificates linked with the graded level of achievement as well.
Yeah, Microsoft MOOC I have seen tons of the courses available.
There is a Microsoft professional program now available, where there are universities who are integrating the curriculum with BTech and master's level across multiple tracks.
Great, fantastic. Now if you see, even the higher education has changed its dimension, and what used to happen at our generation, perhaps even 10 years back, the higher education concept was somebody who has just done his undergrad, maybe 22-year-old kid going for the master's, and then 25 or 26-year-old guy going for the PhD. And now we are seeing the lot of change in this whole kind of mindset. 2 days back, I interviewed one candidate, and he has done his PhD from IIT Bombay. He's roughly around 50 years old. He worked with JP Morgan and not many companies. Her daughter joined first year into journalism program, and this gentleman took admissions for full-time, not executive program, full-time postgraduate program in data science. Last batch, I have seen a guy whose daughter joined Accenture, and this guy joined the PG program, full-time program at the age of 56. This higher education model has changed, the classroom dynamics has changed. Now today, you have candidates, those who are twice the age of the faculty member, sometime in some cases. Parikshit, you are heading the L&D. How technology specific like blended learning or MOOC platforms or smart class, are you using these and how they are impacting the classroom and the whole learning?
Yeah, so as you are pointing, the education ecosystem has changed. The way of delivery has totally transformed. Yes, as
It's not only transfer because you need to really adopt to the new kind
Yes.
of student, you need to really give them the flexibility.
exactly. Nowadays, they are online live classes. It's not like the student is limited to what he's studying in his college. He can go and enroll a course, and there are ample amount of teachers who are there who are giving live classes. The MOOC platform is what Mr. Singh he was rightly saying that these platforms adoption is going to increase exponentially. So education is not limited to those 25% people, and that's what the agenda is. And I think the government is going that direction. Corporates have to adopt to that direction. Otherwise, if we want the pie of those set of students come to us, then also we have to give them similar platforms. Now, as my personal experience goes, I have seen blockchain kind of technology disrupting in front of me. 2014-15, no one was talking about it. As soon as the Bitcoin value rose, it became a common word. But I was not into Bitcoin, I was working behind the
My
scenes.
question is different. My question is, are you using these technologies?
Yes, definitely.
And how it is impacting in terms of the learning outcome of the kind of student you have? Because you have the fresh joinees and you have guys who are 55 and 60.
We have both. So we have a diversified audience,
Okay.
and it's mandatory for us. We have all the channels open,
Right.
online channels. Then real-time feedback is one of the biggest,
Okay.
biggest outcome of it. And there and then you have the questions, and you have to answer to them, and it helps you upgrade yourself also. And age is not a barrier now.
Right.
Education has to be, someone has to reskill himself. IT industry today, you can't say I am a 15-year-old technical architect, I will only do Java. No, not possible. You have to reskill for AI or any other technology which is in demand. So these platforms which we are also building and asking others to build is important, and irrespective if it's a fresher, he is looking out for a job definitely, but if he's an experienced person, he is reskilling to sustain in the market.
Wonderful. Durga, you have been dealing with a lot of top institutions, and in fact today AWS powers most of the startup companies, even EduTech companies, and in fact my company is powered by your platform. So what is your experience, what kind of technology tools are taking a traction and getting inside the classroom here in India? We have a lot of Western stories, but what's the status here in India?
I'll give you, it's not just the startups on the AWS, there are universities, and specifically about the higher ed. I'll just give you an examples of within Bangalore, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, IIIT Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science, Manipal Global Education Services. Some of the examples who actually leverage AWS some way or the other. And to your question about how the technology is being used in the classroom, I think it's playing a significant role there. There was a time where technology was like a PC or a server just talking about accessing some digitized information, but the transformation actually come in such a way that I can talk about one particular partner who actually works exclusively with universities in having this live classrooms, on-demand classroom sessions delivered, so that students, whoever is joining, for example, you talked about some elderly man or the youngest one, the needs of the students also kind of changing. It's not that you cannot expect everyone to be in one classroom by 9 a.m. in the morning. You have more interesting people who are actually outside the classroom, cannot make it, but still want to make wonders out of it. How can I take my classroom lecture out doing in different ways? So I think you talk about this MOOC and LMS and the other things which everybody knows here, right? They're all talking about it. But what is also interesting is, the next one. What is the next step? Well, I have actually digitized them. Digital transformation is done. I've got all these LMS there. I've got ERP there, SIS there. Can I get more data insights out of it? Can I get more information about how can I drive the student engagement? How can I get the sentiment analysis when I'm taking this, 200 people over here or odd people here? Are you guys actually interested? Are you actually focusing here? Should I span? I think there is one. I may take a couple of more minutes. There is attention span of a person, how much it is going to be. I do not have the exact number that nobody actually did it, but I think it's somewhere between 10 minutes to 15 minutes. If a teacher or a faculty who is actually going and talking about it, if he or she is not changing the way that the lecture has to be taught, the attention span of the person is going to be changing. So, and especially with the increase of introduction of these new devices, new platforms, a new way of doing things, how can I get the students' engagement with me so that success, I'm going to be part of their success as a faculty or as university. Think of these things, and your technology is there to help you. The partners are there to help you. There are innovations there to help you, and there are phenomenal things happening there. I can go more in details, but we'll stop there for now.
No, you said right that engagement is the major issue. Now, MOOC is there, but there's a big question mark about the success of the MOOC. There are studies which say roughly around 90%, 98% dropout rate is there in Coursera, edX courses, and now they have started charging, because once you pay, then at least you have some skin in this game. We also see at our institute there are roughly around 95% candidates, those who join, have already done some or other courses.
Can I just give you one example on that? Especially on these dropouts, I'll just give you one example, a real world example. There is one university, okay, so I talked about the digitization of this information, right? That means you have this campus management solutions, faculty-based solutions, student-based solutions out there in silos. Every department has built it, did it, and then forgot about it, right? They don't know. They don't know how to integrate those. This one university, they actually integrated each of these silos into a common cohesive platform in such a way that the outcome of that is, if a student is entering into a few weeks of my semester, I can actually predict. Of course, it's just a prediction, may not be accurate 100%, but I can predict the student's probability of his engagement or probability of dropping out at the end of the semester. I can predict now. This will give me or the university an opportunity to engage proactively with those students, can actually derive more outcome-based teaching or learning, or PBL is one more pedagogical topic that everyone talks about. I think these will actually contribute a lot there.
No, fantastic. So one of the way through which you can really increase the engagement is by offering the content which are relevant to me, and that's where the customizable learning is all about. And in traditional university setup, because of the logistic reason, because of the cost reason, it is not possible to really create the customizable individual learning path, and even we don't have the analytics related to the student. And how do really I offer? So these are the two separate problems. And there has been a lot of talk about the customization learning path. Dr. Vinny, what is your experience, what's your thought? Microsoft is doing a lot of work. Then a lot of tech companies are doing, we ourselves are doing.
See, the core mandate is to build 21st century skills in students. We need to prepare them for the world of tomorrow, which is continuously evolving. Technologies come, technologies get evolved, and this is a continuous process. So one fundamental guiding principle is that everybody needs to be in a learning mode. And students are digital natives. the faculty needs to evolve themselves as well. And most often this point of engagement that has been raised is primarily because if somebody is just projecting slides in a classroom or just playing videos, students can do much better than that. So classroom engagement has to leverage the experience of the faculty. Children have to be involved in discussions, and then it needs to further the knowledge than what is available online or on books or the information overload that is available. So we need to have meaningful projects, designing projects which involves collaboration, which involves research, which involves problems that matter to industry. So, problems in the realm of data science. Today there is a convergence of aspects around data. What do you do with data? Getting insights, analytics. So Power BI, for example, gives rich insights into those. And then what do you do with those data points? How do you take effective decisions that contributes to productivity? And all these problems, somehow the academic institutions need to expose their faculty. So it can't be that we just do the intervention with the student community. Because a student batch will come, will learn, and will graduate. But where does the continuity come in? The continuity will come in from the faculty exposure that needs to be built in. And today there are wonderful, like colleagues just enumerated, there are wonderful solutions that are available from industry that offer blended modes of learning. Just going through a digital course online may not really be sufficient. It has to be blended with some hands-on experience. And that's where most, if you learn from the global skilling programs as well. You look at automobile industry in Korea, in Japan, engineering in Germany, the lessons learned from Switzerland. It's all about giving that practical exposure. And that could be done in blended formats. Today there are virtual labs that are available. You're no longer restricted by the infrastructure available there in the lab. Today you can have a lab set up in the cloud. You can have access to multiple softwares that would be provided to the student community. You can have pay-as-per-use model for accessing cloud like Azure from Microsoft. And we do have partners like Synergistics in Pune. There are 3 or 4 big partners who are doing this not only for the academic institutions, but even for the employees of Microsoft, not only in India, but internationally as well. There is so much opportunity. Its content is available, but what to do with the content, how do you apply them to industry problems, I think that's where the magic happens.
No, you actually nailed it down completely. So so far the education model all these years was basically transmitting the information, capturing the information. As a faculty, I capture the information and then I transmit. And in some areas there is some noise as well. And that era has gone. And that I have seen in last 3-4 years. These students, they come and they say, look, we've already studied regression, we already know decision tree, we already know neural network, we already know TensorFlow. Tell us where to apply and how to apply. Give us the data, give us the problem. And I think that's where now we're going back to the traditional Gurukul class, which is more of a consultative kind. Don't give me the gyan, tell me how do I really do the karma. Give me the problem statement, right? Give me the data and let me solve it. Fantastic. So Parikshit, since you're also operating like a university, because now the corporate has become a university, you also have to really up his skill.
Yeah.
How do you really build this hands-on skilling and then engage people and make them deliver?
So see, the benefit with us is that we are people who are working on real-life industry problems also, and we are able to bring it into our academics. So that's the benefit we are getting. So industries like supply chain, real estate, retail, and where the technology is penetrating on a faster basis, we have our consultants in the field whom we are constantly touch basing, because as Ma'am rightly said, content and educating the educator is okay, but how to deliver it? And as you mentioned, student can say, he can watch YouTube video, come back and say, but if YouTube video would have been that effective, then I think we would not have been here.
We would have shut down.
Yeah, we would have shut down everything. So YouTube is not the solution.
Yeah.
So the delivery is what it matters. Real life case studies are the essence. Where is your tensile flow getting applied? Where is the actual problem getting applied? So this is what the benefit we are able to bring as an organization, and that's what our USP is. And I think we are also offering certain public batches. We bring in people from any age and gender and tell them that we are going to bring our industry expert on that session panel, and they're going to deliver it. So that's why.
So Durga, you run AWS Educate program, and trying to really train a lot of teachers I heard in AP. You like throw some light on how it is getting impacted the teacher's life and the student's life, specifically teacher's life, because teachers have become now these days punching bag. Because last week we had a conference in Delhi, and 2-3 vice chancellors, they were pretty agitated. They said, why you guys are industry guys make teachers punching bag all the time? Yeah.
Actually, on the punching bag part, I'll just actually tell you one story. I was meeting one of the many inspiring leaders from the education industry. This one gentleman actually has got a very good analogy in India context, especially the most of the faculty that we have women, right? And when he was talking about how the lecture plan is important, how it is, while student learning and upskill is important, even the teacher or the faculty should be equipped to be able to give the similar one. The pace at which that the teacher has to learn should be much higher or almost equal to what student is there, who is almost the next generation one. So he said, women in India, especially in the teachers or the faculties there, is slightly different from the other countries, because here you get up in the morning as a faculty, or actually at home you actually get up in the morning, you take care of your kids, you make the box for everybody, you take care of your in-laws, and then go to school or college, and then you come back and you go to take care of a lot of other stuff. It's not just that. It's like multiple hands that your hand as a woman to take care of a lot of it. So where is the time there for her or for the person to be able to get equipped with it? So there has to be a much better, efficient way of getting the upskill, not just for the students, even for the teachers as well. So just want to add that point there about gentleman, what's great observation. He's actually running a great head start now, EduTech startup now, doing amazing well. Now coming to the Educate program that AWS has, rather than
how it is impacting how
exactly.
it is enabling teachers.
So I'll tell you about the brief about Educate, how it works, then probably tell you. It's not just as Dr. Winnie said, the content is there, but how is that content is going to be going into the students and then coming into a more of experience-based learning or outcome-based learning. So with that, the Educate program is actually built in such a way that the content is actually created by the professors as well as the AWS or the cloud. Content is created in a much more interactive way. And then you also have the labs. And then you have the job portal, and then where people actually can post their partners or the customers can post within the portal. The cycle from a student to go from the learning this content, practicing them, and then going to the job portal and applying their kind of bridge gap fill there. But what's important is, just by creating it would not really help. I can just put a pat on my back and say, great job, but how can I actually make it actually happen at the ground? The Educate program is built in such a way that the educational institution-driven program, the institution has to be onboarded with AWS, and the institution faculty will be first equipped with it, with the knowledge, and then they will actually make sure that, like the way they manage their own virtual labs or the computer labs in their own departments, similarly they've actually enrolled the students. They will actually allocate those respective credits for each of the students, monitor what is happening out there, making sure they're actually helping all these self-paced learning or the student experience-based learning and the course, how it's happening. The complete cycle is taken care. It's a university-driven program. This way, both the teachers as well as the students actually getting benefited. I'll give you one example. APSSDC, Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Corporation, said, you know what, rather than you each college or engineering college is coming and enrolling in Educate. I'm going to be representing it. So there are 170 colleges across AP, Andhra Pradesh state enrolled in there. There are more than 20,000 students as of today, actually as part of the AWS Educate, going through that as of today in that.
So it's amazing to see, like I always say that fortunately and unfortunately as well, that these giants like AWS, Microsoft, Google, IBM, they're going to determine what kind of job we'll have and where will the jobs will be. But it's good to see that all these companies are contributing in a big way in making the education much more enjoyable, empowering teachers. Now we have roughly around 20 minutes, so rather than me asking only a few questions, let's open it to the audience and let's see if you have any questions. But again, my advice, there is a difference between asking questions and writing essays. You understand that? So limit your questions to maybe a statement, one or two. Please.
Let us say we are taking a 1 hour lecture and we have been asked to prepare a 10 minutes video. You should be like a director and you should prepare a 10 minutes video which will contain entire 1 hour session. Okay. My question is, being a private institution, we lack means like let us say a studio and all that means infrastructure to prepare a video. So are there any open source tools available to prepare an interactive video for the faculty, or any Microsoft or Amazon, are they having any tool for preparation of interactive video?
Tons of the open source tools are there. You don't require like $1 million studio. So you can buy a Chinese webcam or even in your laptop and you can start recording it. There are tons of mobile apps are already there. You can use that. You can even record your lectures in Skype, right? Or any other thing.
There is
These
a
are the
Skype
free tools.
for business where you can record your lectures, your students can raise questions, and there is like thousands of students who can participate on the live lecture. Secondly, there was a tool which is called as Office Mix now, which is integrated in the new PowerPoint. So you can record your lectures there itself. You can make it interactive, you can plug in multiple elements, and it's very, very simple. It's as simple as like running a PowerPoint.
So there are tons of open source tools are there and it will really help you in terms of improving. What I have seen in the last 4 or 5 years, once you record your lecture, actually it improves your performance because you will go through and you don't require anybody else to really give you feedback.
Yeah, my name is, can I ask?
Yeah, please.
My name is Kalidas. I'm part of an edutech company. My question is to all of them, the panel. All of you all basically are teaching some technologies. You are teaching data science, there's blockchain, and probably Azure, IoT or whatever. My question to you is, do you see application of your software in the education field? Do you see, for example, data science predicting performance of a student, or blockchain being used for certifications? Do you have anything of that?
So when Mr. Singh was talking about certificates download, a QR code getting generated, that I'm not sure at India level, and it has to come from the government, but provenance of your education certificates is going on blockchain in multiple countries, where from your degree, from your SSC certificate to everything will be traceable, so that there is no fraudulent activities. As we have seen, and probably there are a lot of cases which come in the news also, that counterfeiting of your or fake mark sheets, etc. So in order to remove that and do that, blockchain is getting utilized, and slowly and surely in education sector this will come. So QR code is already there, as Mr. Singh mentioned, but slowly the education sector has to diverge to remove all these nuances.
Going back to use of AI and data science, I will be delivering a talk, but just to give you an idea. We are applying heavily AI and data science in my own company and our institution. So we, on this M-Uni platform, we actually rate a candidate when he applies, based on his credentials and his 10, 12 marks, and based on the past, what kind of candidate actually got successful. So this engine actually rates on the candidate, what is the likelihood of this candidate actually doing successfully this program. Another thing is recommending candidates. Like for example, a candidate comes and asks, okay, I want to have a deep learning as an elective. This engine actually tells whether he should really opt for that course or not, or what is the likelihood, 0.5 or 0.6, whether he will clear that course or not, or what is the similar better course for him. So there are a lot of ways which we are using AI. We are using AI, in fact, to design the course curriculum, which I am going to really give a demonstration. Not only relying on the limited expertise, because a lot of academic institutions don't have access to industry guys, and when industry guys come, they also bring their own biases as well, and you can't have the universe idea, right? So how do you really use big data and AI to formulate the curriculum, which I will be talking in my next session.
So AI, for example, has been used by Microsoft. We piloted with the Andhra Pradesh government in the area of education, where data insights into student performance and multiple socioeconomic factors help to predict the dropout ratios in the schools and give support to students so that they could do well in their careers. Likewise, for example, there is also a chat bot that has been created by ITC, which is called RU, and there are millions of people now interacting, getting data from, getting information from students so that there could be an intelligent conversation that could be held. Likewise, Bing, for example, when you're doing research, there are intelligent answers that come in which are around, for example, if your work is around human-computer interaction or speech recognition, then those research papers would, you would have links to resources that will further your research work, and even analytics as well. I mean, it can give rich insights into, even if you're using content or you're investing in research databases, you can get deep insights into how much of it is being consumed by students, what is it that's being assimilated, and you could do correlations with the competence being developed in those areas.
Now, as you said, chatbot, I have been working on a project called Maya. So I have trained this chatbot, and it is helping me. I am training it as my teaching assistant, because I teach a course on use case of big data, data science, and I keep on traveling. I don't have much of time. So this actually chatbot Maya is helping my students in terms of asking basic questions. So you go and ask basic questions: what is neural network, and what is the difference between neural network and decision tree? These are things nascent stage, but later on it will grow. Tomorrow, now we are trying to really use Alexa skills, and now tomorrow it will really talk to you, speak to you. Now you don't have to really, currently it is, you have to just chat. So there are tons and tons of AI tools, but they are not going to replace faculty members, right? You need real faculty in the class.
Absolutely. Just talk about it. Just two more points to what Dr. Winnie and Parashit and Bhupesh mentioned. Are universities and education institutions using these advanced services? Absolutely, yes, they are. But at the same time, if you look at the span across the adoption of the technology or the cloud or the advanced technologies, it varies by university or the city by city and state by state. Maturity is there. So you actually see that in multiple different ways. So there are great examples like the way Dr. Winnie mentioned. And yeah, I think whether it's artificial intelligence, IoT, data insights, as long as you have the right use case and you want to be able to implement it in the right way, there are tools, solutions, services across the globe in any of these platforms over here that institutions can actually start leveraging it. And there is no limitation. It's not that only financial industry or government can you only this and not others. There is no limitation as such. Just a general statement,
Dr. Winnie, you want to?
I just want to share that Microsoft has partnered with global researchers and academics to create digital transformation framework white papers. So this is at a, not only at a country level, at a state level, at an institutional level.
Sometimes if you
and
wait
what
5
goes
minutes,
in the classroom as an individual level. Because we all need to learn and evolve. And there are 13 critical
that means they
conversations
understand the content
that
so much more.
every single person or an institution should have to adopt the right framework. It is not just a hardware or a software conversation. It is not just about the choices that you make. It's about change management, and change management should begin with the leadership buy-in. And then how do you empower your administrative staff? How do you empower your faculty, your students? And how do you create learning communities where relationships are for a lifetime? It's not about just while using a product or a service you get associated, but in any discipline, if you connect, collaborate, I think it will just take learning to a very, very different level.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let us, instead of we summarizing, let's see how the audience summarizes. Can you raise hands? How many of you really believe that digital transformation is needed in the classroom and to take it to the next level? Please raise your hand. Okay, so roughly like everybody, almost 95%. Great. Okay, so I think we have hardly 50 seconds. So let's give a big hand to our panelists, and then any question we can really take offline because already we are running late with around 40 minutes, so we have really covered with the time. Thank you so much.
See, we have in India, we have formal education, syllabus-oriented education throughout all the government.
Unfortunately, we are not able to hear you. Your voice is not clear.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you, but your voice is not clear.
I don't know, keep my here. See here, where our university systems are based on the formal education with a common syllabus are almost outdated. And most of the programs, particularly digitalization and other things, what you are giving is a training-based education, if I am correct. Because some of the premier industries like Microsoft and other things, and most of the programs, digital programs, it's like a training required for the industry. Then what they have not properly incorporated into the syllabus, particularly engineering colleges, agriculture universities and other things. And there is a lot of difference between this, what they provide at the classroom, syllabus, there is a gap. Why don't you such a forum, why don't you suggest to the ASCTU and other things, all India level, the policy makers to inculcate or incorporate some of the latest syllabuses and other things. Then only you can take the digital to a different, otherwise it will play only a finishing school role.
No,
that's the reason
very well said. Fantastic suggestion you gave. And in fact, if you have heard Dr. Sahasrabudhe in the morning, I was a big critic of AICT, but the way government has changed, right? You see, they are trying to really give a lot of autonomy and the flexibility. And the problem is that yes, we need to really generate the content as an academic institution, and we cannot become only a job shop of a training institution just to really create the employment. So the base curriculum cannot be changed, but of course the curriculum which is not, which will make them job ready, which of course these companies, Microsoft and AWS and these disruptive technologies courses are coming, they need to really somehow overlay on the base curriculum of the university, which will really build an intellectual capability. But for the job, of course, you need to really learn the tools which may keep on changing. And that is how this blend of academia and the curriculum beyond the university curriculum will really, at the end of the day, student need to really go out and feed his stomach, right? And repay his exponentially growing fees. So these are the realities. And that's why both academia and industry should really come. Thank you so much. And we will be glad to really have this conversation of panel.
No, my attention is, most of the people after the graduation, they go for post-graduation, for MS and all, to abroad, mainly to the America.
Let's take option of.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And wonderful job as a moderator, Mr. Bhupesh. We managed to save a lot of time. We would like to acknowledge the efforts of our eminent panelists here. And I would like to invite on stage Mr. Santosh from QS. I would like you to felicitate Mr. Bhupesh Behavior, please. inviting Mr. Suraj, no paper forms. Request Mr. Suraj to kindly appreciate their efforts on behalf of ASMA to Mr. Durga Prasad in the center. I'm honored to invite Mr. Sushil from ExtraaEdge to express our gratitude to Mr. Parikshit Jain. May I now have on stage Mr. Manish Chabra from Indian Education Network to felicitate Dr. Vinijor. So big round of applause for all our eminent panelists.